Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, hear me tonight. There comes a moment in every life where comfort can no longer contain you, where small thinking can no longer hold you, where excuses can no longer excuse you. There comes a moment where destiny begins to knock not with a whisper, but with a roar. Some of you have been circling the same mountain long enough. Some of you have been rehearsing your pain long enough. Some of you have been waiting for somebody to give you permission to live. But I came to tell you today, you don't need permission to be who you were born to be. You don't need approval to step into the very thing God has already placed inside of you. Your purpose is not waiting out there somewhere in the distance. It's been in you all along. Buried under fear, buried under doubt, buried under what they said you could not do, but purpose cannot die. Purpose will not quit. Purpose will haunt you until you stand up and walk in it. Do you hear me? You were not created to blend in, you were created to stand out. You were not designed to crawl when you were born with wings. You were not called to just survive this life, you were called to transform it. Yes, the road is hard. Yes, the night gets long. Yes, the tears will fall. But let me tell you, this purpose gives pain its meaning. Purpose makes struggle worth it. Purpose turns pressure into power. It's time to break the chains of hesitation. It's time to silence the voice of intimidation. It's time to rise up, straighten your back, square your shoulders, and declare, "This is my time. This is my season. This is my purpose." Step into it, walk into it, live in it. Because when you step into your purpose, you don't just change your life, you shift generations, you ignite nations. You set the world on fire with the light that only you can bring. So stop waiting, stop doubting, stop shrinking, step boldly, step fearlessly, step faithfully. Step into your purpose. There comes a moment in every life where comfort can no longer contain you, where the familiar feels like a prison, where the walls of the ordinary begin to suffocate the greatness of the extraordinary that is buried within you. There comes a moment where small thinking no longer satisfies the hunger of a big vision, where excuses can no longer excuse you, and delay can no longer deny you. There comes a moment when the clock of destiny strikes, and you cannot hide from the sound. It will not whisper, it will not murmur, it will not wait for you to feel ready. It comes like thunder, shaking everything you thought was stable. It comes like lightning, illuminating everything you've ignored. It comes not to ask your permission, but to demand your response. Some of you have been circling the same mountain long enough. You've been replaying the same story long enough. You've been dancing with fear, entertaining doubt, and waiting on somebody else to validate what God has already validated in you. You've been asking the world for a green light when heaven already gave you the go. Some of you have grown comfortable rehearsing pain, wearing your wounds like a garment, and settling for survival instead of reaching for destiny. But I came to tell you that you don't need permission to be who you were born to be. You don't need approval to manifest what has been incubating in your spirit. The blueprint was written in you before you ever drew your first breath, and the time has come for you to step into what has always been waiting for you. Purpose is not a place out there in the distance. Purpose is not hiding on some faraway mountaintop. Purpose is not waiting for you in the applause of people or the recognition of men. Purpose has been inside you all along. It has been covered, yes. It has been buried, yes. It has been overshadowed by fear, suppressed by insecurity, drowned out by the noise of other people's opinions. But purpose does not die. Purpose cannot be suffocated. Purpose refuses to be silenced. It will haunt you in the night. It will whisper in your silence. It will tug at your spirit until you finally rise up and walk in it. You were not created to blend in. You were not designed to disappear into the background. You were not made to live your life beneath the weight of other people's expectations. You were not called to spend your days crawling in the dust when you were born with wings that were meant to soar. You were not born just to get by, just to endure, just to survive. You were called to disrupt. You were called to impact. You were called to shake the earth until heaven's will is revealed through your life. The truth is, yes, the road will be hard. Yes, the nights will be long. Yes, there will be tears, and yes, there will be times when the burden feels too heavy to carry. But understand this: when you are living in purpose, even the pain has meaning. Purpose redeems the suffering. Purpose transforms the tears into rivers of wisdom. Purpose turns the crushing into oil that anoints you for the assignment you were created for. When you walk in purpose, what once broke you now builds you. What once weakened you now strengthens you, and what once silenced you now becomes your testimony. Do not wait for clarity to be complete before you move. Do not wait until every question has an answer before you step. Do not wait for everyone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. There is a power that comes when you walk forward even while trembling. There is strength that rises when you take one step, and then another, even when you cannot see the full staircase. There is courage that appears not before the battle, but in the midst of it. There is grace that meets you not on the sidelines, but in the very act of moving. It is time to break the chains of hesitation. It is time to silence the voice of intimidation. It is time to stop letting the weight of what if crush the possibility of what can be. Too many destinies have been delayed because of overthinking. Too many callings have been aborted by fear. Too many dreams have been buried under the rubble of procrastination. You cannot keep waiting for a perfect moment. The moment will never be perfect, but the purpose will always be worth it. You must rise up now. You must square your shoulders. You must lift your head and declare that this is your time. This is your season. This is the reason you were born. You must understand that stepping into your purpose is not just about you. It is about the lives attached to your obedience, the generations waiting on your courage, the nations that will feel the ripple of your yes. Some of you have been waiting for doors to open, but doors don't open for those who refuse to knock. Some of you have been waiting for opportunities to come, but opportunities don't come to those who bury their gifts in the ground. You've been waiting for the right time, the right season, the right people to come into your life, but there will never be a perfect moment. The moment is made perfect when you step into it. The season becomes ripe when you put your hand to the plow. The people you need will show up when you decide to walk in the lane that was carved out for you. Purpose is not activated by passivity. Purpose is not revealed in hesitation. Purpose unfolds in motion. You cannot discover what you refuse to pursue. You cannot walk into destiny while standing still in fear. You cannot unleash greatness while clinging to comfort. There comes a point where you have to stop praying about it and start walking in it. There comes a point where you have to stop asking if you're ready and start trusting that you're equipped. There comes a point where you have to stop waiting for the stars to align and realize that you are the star that God has already positioned in the sky. Some of you have been living beneath your calling because you've been measuring your potential by people who cannot see it. They don't know what you carry. They don't know the fire in your bones. They don't know the oil that runs through your spirit. They see you as ordinary, but there is nothing ordinary about you. You are not the product of coincidence. You are not the result of random chance. You are a divine assignment wrapped in flesh, and the earth has been groaning for you to manifest what has been planted within you. You cannot keep shrinking to fit the comfort of small minds. You cannot keep dimming your light because others are intimidated by its shine. You cannot keep apologizing for being who you were born to be. You are not too much. You are not too bold. You are not too gifted. You are exactly enough to do what you were placed here to do. If the vision feels too big for you, it's because it was never meant for you to carry it alone. Purpose attracts provision. Purpose summons help. Purpose calls forth resources that cannot be seen until you move in faith. Yes, the opposition will rise. Yes, critics will speak. Yes, battles will intensify. That is the price of carrying weight. That is the cost of being chosen. That is the reality of birthing something greater than yourself. But understand this. The pressure you feel is proof that you are pregnant with destiny. The resistance you face is evidence that you are carrying something the enemy fears. He wouldn't be fighting you this hard if what you carried wasn't powerful enough to disrupt his plans. He wouldn't be trying to silence you if your voice wasn't destined to shift atmospheres. He wouldn't be attacking your life if your very existence wasn't a threat to the darkness. You must not confuse warfare with weakness. The fact that you are under fire is not proof that you are failing, but that you are on the front lines of impact. The fact that doors are slamming is not a sign to quit, but a sign that a bigger door is about to open. The fact that you feel stretched is not a reason to stop, but a reason to recognize that you are being expanded for something greater than where you've been. Stop waiting for the fear to leave before you act. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move in spite of it. Stop waiting for everyone to understand before you obey. They don't have to understand. They didn't hear what you heard. They didn't feel what you felt. They didn't see what was revealed to you. Stop waiting for everything to line up before you move. It will line up as you walk. It will align as you step. The waters only part for those who move forward, not for those who stand still. The time has come to release yourself from the chains of hesitation. The time has come to shut down the inner critic that keeps replaying every failure and magnifying every flaw. The time has come to rise from the ashes of regret and declare that your yesterday does not define your tomorrow. The time has come to look at the mountain in front of you and realize that it is not blocking you. It is preparing you to climb higher. The time has come to silence the voices that say not you, not now, not ever, and replace them with the voice of heaven that says yes you, yes now. Yes, always. Some of you have been living life like you're on pause, stuck in the in-between, trapped in the waiting room of your own destiny. You have dreams that you've carried for years, but you've allowed fear to press the brakes. You have gifts that have been sitting on the shelf collecting dust while you convince yourself that tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow you will start. Tomorrow you will change. But tomorrow is not promised, and destiny does not wait. Purpose does not stand still. Purpose keeps moving, and if you don't rise to meet it, it will pass you by. You have been waiting for the right conditions, but purpose is not activated by conditions, it is activated by conviction. You've been waiting for a sign, but sometimes the sign is the very restlessness in your soul that will not let you sleep. Sometimes the sign is the frustration you feel when you try to fit into spaces that cannot contain you. Sometimes the sign is the holy dissatisfaction with life as usual. That dissatisfaction is not punishment. That discomfort is not failure. That frustration is the evidence that there is more inside of you than the life you have been living. The challenge is that stepping into your purpose requires you to leave behind the safety of what you know. You cannot walk into destiny while clinging to familiarity. You cannot discover new horizons while refusing to let go of the shoreline. Growth always demands separation. Every great calling requires you to release something: the approval of people, the security of the familiar, the comfort of the predictable. You cannot embrace the future while holding on to the past with both hands. At some point, you must choose: do I want safety, or do I want significance? Do I want comfort, or do I want calling? Do I want predictability, or do I want purpose? The mistake so many make is believing that purpose will show up dressed in ease. But purpose never comes wrapped in comfort. Purpose is born in struggle. Purpose is revealed in storms. Purpose is discovered when life pushes you to the breaking point, and yet you rise anyway. It is in the midnight hour, when tears stain your pillow, that you begin to realize there is more to you than what people see. It is in the valley, when strength is gone and hope feels far away, that you discover a power that was always inside you. That's why the breaking did not destroy you. That's why the storm could not drown you. That's why the fire could not consume you, because purpose is indestructible. What you carry is not fragile. What you carry is not ordinary. What you carry is weighty, eternal, powerful. That is why you cannot afford to keep shrinking. That is why you cannot afford to keep settling. That is why you cannot afford to keep postponing the greatness that was planted in your spirit. You were designed to shift atmospheres. You were designed to be a voice in the wilderness, a light in the darkness, a catalyst for transformation. You were designed to leave footprints in places where others fear to tread. And understand this: when you begin to walk in purpose, it will not only transform you, it will transform everything around you. Purpose is contagious. When you step into your assignment, others find the courage to step into theirs. When you rise, others rise. When you break free, others see that freedom is possible. Your obedience becomes the permission someone else was waiting for. Your courage becomes the spark that ignites another person's fire. Your movement becomes the momentum that ripples through families, through communities, through generations. This is why the battle has been so intense over your life. This is why the pressure has been so heavy. This is why the opposition has been relentless. Because the enemy does not attack what is empty, he attacks what is full. He does not waste his weapons on people who pose no threat. The very fact that you've been under siege is proof that what you carry is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. That's why he's been trying to silence you before you speak, break you before you build, distract you before you decide, but the enemy cannot cancel what heaven has ordained. The storm cannot erase what eternity has written. The struggle cannot abort what was conceived in your spirit before you were even born. You are still here because you still have work to do. You are still breathing because purpose is not finished with you. You are still standing because the assignment is still alive inside you. So rise from the ashes of fear. Rise from the weight of regret. Rise from the shadows of doubt. Rise from the voices that said you would never be enough. Everything you've been through has been preparing you. Every setback was a setup. Every detour was direction. Every wound was shaping you. Every tear was watering the seed of destiny in your soul. You have been forged in the fire so that when you step into your purpose, you do so with authority, with resilience, with a testimony that no one can take away. There is a sound in your spirit that will not be silenced, a stirring that refuses to go away, a whisper that keeps echoing no matter how much you try to drown it out. You've tried to bury it beneath busyness. You've tried to cover it with excuses. You've tried to muffle it with distractions, but it keeps rising, keeps calling, keeps pulling at you because purpose will never allow you to stay comfortable in a place you were never meant to stay. Purpose will disturb you until you move. It will frustrate you until you shift. It will push you until you surrender. You cannot run from what was woven into the very fabric of your being. You can change jobs. You can change cities. You can change relationships. But until you embrace your assignment, the void will remain. That restless dissatisfaction, that gnawing sense that something is missing, that hunger that nothing else seems to satisfy, that is the voice of destiny reminding you that you are misaligned. You were not created to simply exist, to go through motions, to check off boxes on the calendar of life. You were created to pour, to build, to influence, to release something into earth that nobody else can release. It is dangerous to live life ignoring the sound of your own calling, because when you ignore it, you start to settle. You settle for jobs that do not challenge you, relationships that do not honor you, environments that do not grow you. You start to suffocate beneath the weight of mediocrity. You start to live in patterns that numb your spirit. You start to wear masks to please people who cannot even see the real you. And before long, you forget who you are. But the call will not forget you. The call will not stop haunting you. The call will keep knocking until you answer. Answering that call does not mean you will have all the answers. It does not mean the road will be clear. It does not mean the journey will be easy. Answering the call means you are willing to take a step, trembling if you must, uncertain if you must, but stepping. Nonetheless, because clarity comes in movement, not in stagnation. Revelation comes in obedience, not in hesitation. Direction comes when you dare to walk, not when you sit and wait for the map to draw itself. You must understand that everything you have gone through up until now has been a classroom for your purpose. The betrayals, the heartbreaks, the failures, the disappointments, none of it was wasted. It was shaping you, molding you, chiseling you into the person who could carry the weight of what you were called to carry. You thought it was breaking you, but it was building you. You thought it was punishment, but it was preparation. You thought it was rejection, but it was redirection. Every scar is a sign that you survived what should have destroyed you, and survival is the testimony that you are still qualified to step into what was assigned to you. Stop waiting for others to validate your gift. Stop waiting for applause before you act. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions before you move. There will always be critics. There will always be obstacles. There will always be reasons to delay. But every moment you wait, potential withers unused. Every day you hesitate, destiny is deferred. Every time you shrink back, someone else misses the impact you were designed to make. This is bigger than you. This is bigger than your comfort. This is bigger than your fears. The earth is waiting for your sound. The world is waiting for your release. And yes, there will be weight. Purpose is heavy because it carries consequence. It carries responsibility. It carries legacy. That's why you cannot treat it lightly. That's why you cannot handle it casually. But don't confuse weight with weakness. The fact that you feel stretched means you are being expanded. The fact that you feel pressed means you are producing. The fact that you feel fire means you are being forged. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are formed under pressure, and so are destinies. You don't need to have it all figured out to begin. You don't need to be the most qualified, the most talented, the most experienced. What you need is courage. Courage to believe that what is inside of you is greater than what stands against you. Courage to trust that the same hand that placed the dream in you will guide you as you walk it out. Courage to rise even when fear is screaming, to speak even when your voice shakes, to move even when your knees tremble. Because courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to go anyway. There comes a point where you can no longer afford to negotiate with destiny. You can no longer afford to keep putting purpose on layaway, telling yourself you'll step into it when the timing feels right, when the money looks better, when the fear quiets down, when the people around you finally believe. That day may never come, and if you keep waiting for it, you risk leaving this earth full of untapped potential, carrying dreams that were meant to live but instead died inside of you. Purpose doesn't wait for your convenience. Purpose waits for your courage. You cannot keep standing on the sidelines of your own calling. You cannot keep spectating while others walk boldly into what they were made for. You cannot keep scrolling through everyone else's breakthroughs while your own breakthrough is locked inside of your obedience. You cannot keep clapping for everybody else's fire while your own fire flickers in silence. This is not the season to spectate. This is not the time to hide in the shadows of other people's achievements. This is your hour to step onto the field, to take the weight of your assignment seriously, to stop treating purpose like an option and start treating it like oxygen. You must recognize that every excuse you've been clinging to is a chain. The excuse that you're not ready, the excuse that you don't have enough resources, the excuse that you don't know enough people, the excuse that you've already made too many mistakes. These are chains designed to keep you from movement. And as long as you keep rehearsing excuses, you will remain a prisoner of hesitation. But the moment you decide to rise, those chains begin to break. The moment you choose to step, the excuses lose their power. The moment you choose to believe, the walls begin to fall. Understand that the greatness in you was never meant to be comfortable. It was meant to stretch you. It was meant to push you. It was meant to demand more of you than you thought you had. That's why it feels bigger than you. That's why it scares you. That's why it keeps you awake at night, because it's not just about you, it's about the people waiting on the other side of your obedience. Someone's healing is tied to your yes. Someone's breakthrough is tied to your courage. Someone's clarity is tied to your voice. When you hide, they suffer. When you delay, they wait. When you shrink, they lose. The truth is, you've already survived what should have destroyed you. You've already endured storms that were designed to bury you. You've already walked through valleys that others didn't make it out of. You are proof that resilience runs in your blood. You are proof that strength is your portion. You are proof that no matter what came against you, it could not cancel what is within you. So why doubt now? Why hesitate now? Why convince yourself you are unworthy when your very survival is evidence that you are necessary? Stop rehearsing the failures of your past like they are the full story of your life. Stop replaying the disappointments like they define your worth. Stop magnifying the voices that said you couldn't do it. Didn't call you, they didn't craft you, they didn't breathe destiny into you. They don't get the final word. You cannot build your future on the rubble of someone else's opinion. You cannot measure your calling by the limitations of people who never had the vision in the first place. There is more inside of you than you realize. There are books that haven't been written yet. There are ideas that haven't been spoken yet. There are solutions that haven't been created yet. There are lives that haven't been touched yet. But none of it will manifest until you stop doubting, until you stop hiding. Until you stop settling. You don't need perfection to begin. You don't need applause to validate. You don't need every detail to be clear. You just need to step trembling, step unsure, step uncomfortable, step anyway.